give you a quick introduction to something that we've been working on for the last few months. I'm excited to co-present today with Bob. I say co-present, I'm just going to introduce him, and I'm going to let him do the presentation itself. So today's topic is strategic planning matrix. Having gone through several strategic planning exercises myself, I know this is definitely one of those processes that can make a huge difference in the organizational performance. What we are going to share today is a way for you to make your strategic plan something that's a living document, something that people throughout the organization have access to, and the progress is available for people to see transparently, and as things actually really kind of just progress, you can see on every goal, every project where your organization is. So this is a new offering that we have for your employee portal. Before I get into the topic, I should say that this is obviously something that I have used internally at Passageways, but I've also seen several different formats of doing strategic planning. What we've tried to build here and offer here is a versatile tool which allows you to take your plan and make it something that that's available on your employee portal itself. To walk us through this, we have Bob. Bob is the CEO at Purdue Federal. Purdue Federal is obviously been a huge partner with Passageways for the last 12 years. Bob's been the CEO at Purdue Federal for the last 7 years, and he is as good as gets when it comes to strategy and just taking the whole organization forward. I'm going to quickly do a little introduction here, but I'll allow Bob to say hello to everybody.
Thanks, Paroon. Appreciate the nice introduction.
Thank you. Yeah, I could have done several slides in introducing Bob. Not only is he's been a great friend of the business, but he's also been a mentor to me for the last decade or so. He's certainly, I enjoy not just discussing business, but also whenever I feel like I need to hit the golf range, he's just definitely the best person in town to really go do that with. So now let me get into the topic of the day itself. Before I do that, quick introduction to where we are as an organization. We serve about just short of 230 employee portals in the financial services industry. These are employee portals that are configured differently for every organization. We are the leading provider of employee portals in the financial services industry. We also have, of course, a board portal offering. Currently serving more than 150 organizations for their board communication and their board materials and all of that. We are also proud of the fact that we've been an exclusive partner with the Credit Union National Association for the last 4 years, and then this year we got endorsed by ICBA. I should actually really say it's not really an endorsement, but it's an exclusive selection of a preferred service provider. Both by CUNA as well as ICBA. In addition to that, our focus has been, financial industry. We've won awards from across different, providers in the industry itself, and several other prestigious awards. In fact, 13 awards in the last 12 years. Pretty proud of the effort that our team has actually pulled together. And as we get into employee portals, and how strategic planning matrix fits into it, I think I should actually really point out that the employee intranet, typically is about organizing information so it's easy to find when you need it. That's the basic problem we're trying to solve. In doing that, there are several challenges that people actually talk about, and why they approach this project as it applies to strategic planning. Establishing common goals. Of course, every organization is doing that. Typically you plan, for the year. You also break it down by different quarters and months. But sharing that information is still a challenge. Right after coming up with your plan, you definitely have a way to roll out the whole plan. But then, sharing it regularly so people stay focused. That's the key part. And through this, offering that we're going to see today, you'll also establish a certain amount of transparency about your performance and your progress. If you make all the information in terms of your goals and projects be available, decisions are going to be overall, in sync with your strategy itself. Your middle management as well as your senior management, they're going to refer to the plan more often. They're going to go back and lean back to what you decided as the plan for the year, and also utilize some of the new information that the application that you're going to see today brings forward. Business intelligence is a buzzword that's tossed around rather loosely, but when it comes to the key projects that you've undertaken, leveraging all the information that's coming to you on a regular basis, week by week, that's the key part of what you'll see today. I personally feel that this drives alignment throughout the organization and builds a culture that that is more focused towards the key things that you set out to do, whether it's serving your customers or improving just employee satisfaction. All of those become a big part of your culture if you reference it and make it available for everybody to look at. The question that I got from my team was, as we embark on building this, why are we doing this now? Of course, there are certain reasons to do this. The number one thing that I would say is there are certain technology advances that we've made in the recent past, specifically in dashboards, that allow us to really kind of build another layer on top of our dashboards offering. So the strategic planning matrix that you'll see today, it leverages the dashboard piece that we already had out there for several years. Now we are able to give you another way to really kind of give you an overall map, or your plan itself can be mapped on the employee portal. We also feel that employees continue to get more and more advanced in their tech usage. They want something that they can look at, the 10,000 feet view, and then be able to drill down and see exactly what they have. Often organizations are doing this through spreadsheets, and you lose track on the current version of the spreadsheet. In fact, Bob has some history to give here as well. That's how most organizations are dealing with their plan documents. I think today the employee portal really allows you to do that more elegantly, more streamlined in just the way information is made available. Organizations need to be efficient, not just in a certain process here and there, but overall in their planning process itself. And this is a big need, felt not just at Purdue Federal and Passageways, but I've had several conversations with leaders, throughout the last several years. And, this seems like a common theme that emerges. We've taken a shot at trying to give you a solution that hopefully is flexible enough to fit your needs. Like I said, it's built around our dashboards module, so certainly if you already have dashboards, you can pull together a collection of these gauges and really kind of come up with a page that gives you the overall plan. What we are going to share today is a more streamlined process to really have a look at your plan, come up with the key things that you want everybody to look at, and build a layer on top of the dashboards, that is, easy to understand, easy to locate, and that's sort of, what, led to this project. The dashboards module, a quick reminder, got a significant upgrade earlier this year. It allows you to not only do your typical gauges, but also have, a way for employees to know whether you're doing well on a certain metric, whether you're behind on a certain goal. So the state of every particular goal, whether it's good, bad, or great, you can actually make those range, demarcation on the gauges themselves. We also have included, a great way for you to really kind of just hook up your employee portal to any SQL-based application, which allows you to look at your infrastructure and see where the data lies and really dashboard that out on the portal. When you combine this to what we are calling the strategic planning matrix, this takes a whole new meaning. The strategic planning matrix allows you to really kind of just lay out the key strategies and the tactics that will support those, those strategies and decisions that you made, and really tie them to goals in a very visual manner. This entire suite has taken us, several months to work through. Purdue Federal has, obviously been a partner in coming up with it, and it is something that Bob is very passionate as well as knowledgeable about. So I'm looking forward to this presentation itself. I'm going to come back and talk about some more of, about this topic towards the end. But at this point, Stephanie, can you make Bob the presenter at this time so we can turn it over to Bob?
Yep, Bob, you are all set up and ready to go.
Okay. Let's see if I can get the right screen on here. All right. How's that look? Everyone see the portal up on the screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So a little bit of background on where we got to the matrix you're seeing in front of you right now. This started out probably 7 years ago when I took over as CEO. I had a series of different tools, and some of you may have been through some of these different pain points that I'm about to describe. We had a great plan that was built in a 3-ring binder that sat on the desk of the previous CEO that very few people saw. Many of us had some chance to put input into it, but then when it was all put together, it really got put into a binder. We did some implementation stuff, but we never really went back and looked at the document ever throughout the year. And we certainly didn't share it much past the management team level. So it really kind of became a static document. We also had a series of dashboards. We were tracking certain things that were either incentive-based or just kind of key numbers we were following and tracking, and those were often a different section, and certain people had access to those numbers as well. And then we had our daily projects list that we'd be going through, everything from really hot top priority projects that were big, multi-department projects down to small little projects that were within a certain department. So it always different areas, and there was just no coordination between them. And we found there was a couple times we were doing great project work and really doing a lot of work on something that was not even on our strategic plan. So it was just a mismatch of resources to the need, and then we had no metrics to follow it. So we had a whole bunch of those mismatches. So I sat down literally with an Excel spreadsheet and built the first strategic matrix off of a spreadsheet. And after using it for about 6 months and finding out how hard it was to keep it updated, it really was just nothing more than a package of links and some text to describe them. I asked our IT team to build this thing and make it somewhat easier to live with. So what they built was this tool right here. And they built it, and it lives within our portal. It is on the front page of our portal. So every single employee in the organization, whether it be a brand new employee that just started today, all the way up through me, we all have access to this thing, and we can all see it the minute we log in the morning. It's one of the first things we see. It's on our main portal page. And this is the document that we've lived with for the last 6 years, and it's grown. It started out as being maybe a 10 to 15 line document, and you can see it's got mission, vision stuff across the top just to give some idea of what this organization is about. And then it went through a whole list of key strategies. It had a really simple little dashboard out here where red means you're not doing so well, yellow means you're kind of getting close to your target, green, 3 bars of green means you're doing okay, 4 bars of green means you're probably getting close to exceeding your target for that particular metric. And then you could follow the metric, follow some links, get some more dashboards, see some more details. And then off to the right was this thing called project prioritization. And what this helped us do is look at areas that were, if they were in the red as far as the metric, we could look at seeing what kind of resources we were throwing against it to help it out, to maybe get it out of the red and into the yellow or into the green. So it helped us really kind of align resources with strategic needs and metric attainment. So it really kind of brought all 3 of those very spread out, very different type of tools that we used as managers. It put them all together on one page and really helped us on a weekly basis talk through resources. But you can see this thing has grown now, and it's kind of grown to be a nasty little document. It's difficult to update, keep track of. So you go from that to what we have today. This is our new version of our strategic matrix. Has much more layering built into it where we can collapse some things down and allow an individual to drill deeper into it. So like, for example, and this is probably 95% done for our organization for 2015. I have a few finishing touches to add and a couple of dashboards, but for the most part, it's ready to roll. And you can see in the very first look at it, it's not even a full page of my screen, It's got everything on it that I need to. It communicates the key stuff as far as vision and mission. It communicates the key strategies, our 6 key strategies that we talk about as an organization. It has a link off to our top 10 projects, and that link is only going to be viewable. It's controllable by role within the portal. So if I don't want my board to see that link, because it's not worth them going into our projects database, they don't have access to it anyway, that link won't even show for them. If I don't want a frontline staff person to have access to the projects tool, I can take that link off as well. Likewise for the bottom line, if we're tracking incentive compensation, at this point in time we are at a 36% payout of our incentive compensation, with 100% being the top number. This would only be visible for those roles that I want to show it to, so in my case I'll show that to managers and above who are part of our incentive plan. So you get an idea of how that can go, and then they can drill into it, click on it, and follow it into additional detail links or additional detailed dashboards. And then if an individual says, okay, I want to spend a little more time and find a little more about this, they can go to expand all of them, or they can expand any one of them individually. And you'll see it then pop up a little more detail, including some dashboards. Right now I only have a couple of dashboards out on this page, but you can see how you could quickly, through an expand, show a quick dashboard on how that key strategy is going on one of the dashboards. Or you can put multiple dashboards out here if you want. All depends on how much real estate you want to take up with an expansion. It will then also take you into projects. So if you have projects created within the tool, you can list those projects out here as well. The way we're working ours right now, because we use a different project management tool, we're going to keep our projects over on the project management tool and just link back and forth instead of keeping 2 separate projects. But the tool here itself does allow you to keep a list of projects if you wanted to as well. So again, with the expand, allows me to bring all of them out and can show dashboards for each of the key, in our case, the key 6 areas. And then to make it real clean, collapse them, and you can blow up even just one at a time if you want to just blow up one and take a look at one. Going beyond that then, I can drill into some detail. I'm going to go into, here's financial foundation. This is one of our key strategies. This one will make sense to a lot of people. And that's popping this window, which we have on this key strategy. I have 5 dashboards that I'm tracking, and this one is really a dashboard view where you should be able to quickly look at it, and if all the needles are pointing towards green or blue, then you know you're in the zone, you know where you need to be. If any one of them is not pointing where it needs to be, you can drill into it and get some additional detail. So this one, for example, is showing red. This one happens to be one of the elements that we're tracking that really won't get into green or blue until the end of the year. We track how much we give back to the members in a give back program throughout the year, and we're at $654,000 as of today. We expect to be somewhere around, 2.7 million or somewhere in there, so it's not going to get there until the end of the year. I can look at historicals by showing our data source, and this will show me all of the last year's data leading right up until this year. So I can, one of the first questions you usually ask is, well, where were we at the same point last year? Well, I can see we were at $417,000 at the same point last year compared to $654,000 this year. And then again, you can hide it and put that away as well. So the way the new tool works is pretty slick, how it allows you to keep drilling down. And again, I wouldn't need to drill down any deeper if the number looks like it's pointing into green or blue and I'm comfortable with it. That may not be one that I drill down. Process-wise, what we do on a monthly basis is I meet with my VPs that are assigned to these different key strategies. We just had these meetings yesterday, and they worked really clean, where we're able to just go right to this document, pull up this page, do a quick look at the key dashboards that we've all defined. We worked together on defining the dashboards we wanted on here. They work together on getting the data gathered, pulled together, and we can spend time on saying, hey, how are things tracking? What are the things we said we're going to do as far as key tactics? And then we can spend time on going into projects and talking about what are the key projects that we're working on that are going to help these dashboards turn from red to green to ideally to blue. So that's kind of how we use it. And then I go through that with each of the different VPs and crews through their different areas and spend time on the metrics and goals. I'll pause there for a second. Paroon or Stephanie, if you guys want to see if there's questions out there. Or...
Yep.
So let me take just a second. Oh. Just to let all of you know, in this session, there is in your GoToMeeting panel or your GoToWebinar panel, typically on the right-hand side of your screen, there are two options if you have any questions or comments as Bob is going through the presentation here. One, you can certainly indicate or click on the question mark icon, and that will allow you to plug in a question if you would like for us to ask that on your behalf. If you do not have a microphone or if you're not plugged in or calling in on a phone, we can certainly do that for you. The other thing that you can do is raise your hand by clicking on the hand icon, and then we can call on you to ask your question. So at this point in time, we'll just take a quick second. Does anyone have any questions? We can jump to you very quickly. All right, Bob, at this point in time, I think we are good with any questions. Paroon, anything before we move on?
No, I think we're good.
All right.
Bob,
right,
one of the things that I really, have learned from, just observing how you've done this, you pretty much have built your plan such that your one-on-one with your VPs is pretty much done using this tool. If you don't mind, please share that part of it as well.
Yeah, we don't have paper agendas for meetings. We run it right off of the portal, and this document going into these drill downs within each key strategy area really runs as our agenda and runs as our data flow for the meeting. Makes it very easy. And Stephanie, you got a question?
Yeah, I think Kevin's got a question here. Kevin, I've sent you an audio pen. You should be able to go ahead. Yeah, there you go.
Is there a question, Paroon, or do we keep going?
I think there's a question coming in here. Kevin had a question. Just want to make sure, Kevin, if you do have a question, please type in the question so we can just make sure we, get that question answered before we move on with the presentation.
Not hear us?
Yep, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Can we talk with Bob?
I can hear you.
Hey, Bob, this is Mike Tomko. I'm the new CEO here. Do you remember me?
Yeah.
From our days in Key West and La Jolla and up in
Cardwell, yeah, 306.
Absolutely. And there's about four. There was a group of 7. It was about 4 of us now who have become CEOs. That's a pretty good result. Bob, I came from Community First, and we used your scorecard, Passageways, and we used Connections dashboard.
Okay.
One of the frustrations with Connections dashboard, and I'm kind of seeing the same thing here, if it's an annual metric, it's going to sit in the red until about November when it actually starts to move. Is there any math behind the dashboard that can tell you for where we are today, here's where you should be?
You can. We have had that discussion every single year on this one, and you can do it both ways. You can do it where it's a year-to-date number and how is it tracking, or you could annualize it and look at it that way. What I've said to our team is, you know what, if you look at some of the metrics, and the example I showed you there was the payout to the member, if I annualize that, it starts to get kind of flaky in the beginning of the year, and you really can't trust the number because it may not stay on that same path. And my fear is you may take your eyes off of it because you've annualized it and you've moved on to something else thinking that one's okay. So what we've done is just said, hey, it's an annual goal. We're tracking towards the annual goal. When you look at that number, you know it's going to be red until probably late in the third quarter into the fourth quarter.
The other question I have is, on the scorecard at least, when we made a change, like an annual change, and you would probably change the metrics that you wanted to look at annually, it required a reprogramming of the entire system, which was a lot of work and expense. Is the dashboard the same way?
The question I heard there is when you made a change to the dashboard, you had to go and reprogram the entire dashboard, huh? Is that correct?
Actually, with the scorecard, we weren't using the dashboard. We were using your scorecard, and it had to be custom reprogrammed.
No, in this case, to answer for those that couldn't hear the question, it was, really, can you change these dashboards on the fly, which I think is kind of the sense of the question, and you can. You can change the min, meets, and exceeds, go into it and change it on the fly, and then your data feed will just align up with your min, meets, and exceeds. And all the min, meets, and exceeds does is change where the color line break is. It changes whether or not where the blue starts and stops and where the red starts and stops. So you could definitely do it.
Our struggle really was not so much with what the goal was, but what the metric was. So at the end of the year, let's say next year we didn't really want to track membership growth, but we wanted to track business deposit growth. It required a reprogram.
Okay, so you're saying more of a, if you want to change an entire dashboard from one dashboard to a different one, is that correct?
Well, what metric you're looking at. Like on the dashboard, let's say we wanted to take one metric off and we wanted to add a different metric.
Yep. How about if I show you right where that's at on the setup here, real quick. Under Manage Metrics, I can tie what's called a visualization, and the visualization is actually the dashboard image itself. I can tie that dashboard image to a certain strategy. So let's say if I go into, I want to add a new one. I pick which strategy it's going to be tied to. I can do financial foundation. I can choose if I want this one to show on that front page or not. In our case, we pulled most of them off the front page to keep the clutter down. I'm going to pop into a new window, and then here's my list of visualizations that we've created. And I can I'll pull in ROE into this one. And I can get a quick preview of it. And if I like how this looks, that now is out here, right here. And then when I go into the matrix, which we've got right now, our matrix right now is sitting in a work group. Once we're done with it, with testing of it, we'll move it back up into the main page so all members can see it, all staff can see it. Now when I go to Financial Foundation, drill deeper into it, here's that extra metric right here. And I can delete them just as easy and take them off of there. Did that answer the question? Okay. Let me show you a few more things on some of the setup stuff then. Is that a good path to go, Paroon?
Yeah, we have another question. You can keep that in mind. And the question really is about how many, what kind of resources were you needed as you set out to really set all of this up? I guess that was a question that I saw a minute back. So just yeah, go ahead.
I can actually answer them pretty good because I did all the setup myself. I built this it probably took me a half a day of plugging in the actual words of, it took way more time to get the words built and put into a spreadsheet. That took us weeks to get, board approval and staff approval and all the proper wordsmithing, and it took me half a day from that point to plug all of that stuff in once it's written down into our matrix, and then tie the metrics to the right strategy and tie the right tactics to the right strategy. And it took my team probably a day to build the visualizations. We already had the data that we were tracking for the most part. We had probably 75% of it already pulled together in spreadsheets. They just needed to point the dashboard tool to the proper column in the spreadsheet. And now on a monthly basis, it's pretty easy to update the dashboards. So it's not a huge commitment of time to get this thing up and running now. The biggest time is quite honestly going to be building your strategic framework in the first place.
Very good.
Let's look at some of the tools to build this thing. So here are all the different tools you have as an administrator for the matrix. And again, you can decide if management has access to these tools or if it's just going to be more portal administrator type function. I think parts of it you're going to want to have the end user, managers, leadership team in on it because it allows them to do self-serve and take care of the stuff on their own. So in here, I can program in what I want to have written for mission vision. I can change the headings. If you guys don't use the term strategies and metrics and have different leadership type terms you want to put in here, you can customize that, change your font size. Just some controllability over that. If you choose to do a top 10 type project link on the bottom or some kind of that's our nomenclature, that's our naming for it. You can call it whatever you want it. And then you put a URL for where you're gonna maybe link to if you use a different URL for a different project management tool. And then here's the role based. You can choose who has access to seeing that link. And the same thing for that incentive compensation. You can call it whatever you want it. You can link it to wherever you want it to go, pop a new window, and then control who sees it. And then we also, in our case, we threw a dashboard. You can see the dashboard down here. It is handy to kind of see what it looks like, so you can play around with size and get it to a size that you kind of want it to view. So that's the basic framework to set up the part of the first page. And then you really walk through the portal and walking through, okay, I got to start with strategies. And you create a key strategy. You go into an edit here. One of our key strategies is a culture of service. Do I want this to show on the main page? And yes, I would think you would. You can determine who owns this matrix, who has access to view it. And follow that through for all your key strategies. Pick your key owners, who has access to it, whether it shows in the matrix, what order it shows in the matrix, if it's in order position 1 or line number 2 or 3. You can do all that through manage strategies. We would then move to manage tactics. These are some of the different initiatives we're going to be working on to make the strategy happen. And you can see here we probably have 25 of those tied to each of the different key strategies. And then we would go to metrics. And again, we've defined all of these for each of the different key strategies. How many metrics do you want to try and track for each of them? What's the link? So it can pop up the right page. Is it going to open a new window? Is it going to show on the main matrix? And then last, you can add projects as well and tie a project to a tactic. So the hierarchy here is it goes from strategy to tactic to project, and then the metrics hang off of the strategies. Anything else, Paroon, that you think we should touch on?
I think, what is interesting, and I've always found this to be very useful, is just the fact that you've chosen the words very carefully, and there's a certain amount of education that you're doing through this tool for your staff, because not all of them are part of the strategic planning. Is that deliberate? Have you tried to do that for a particular reason, Bob?
One of the biggest benefits we've gotten from putting the matrix in front of all employees, it's great to show brand new employees to tell them, hey, if you want to know what's going on around here, it's not sitting in a binder on my desk. It is sitting on the front page of your intranet that you're going to see every day. So if you've got some downtime and want to just kind of nose around and see what's happening around the organization as far as key projects or things we're working on or what we're planning on doing in the future, our entire long-term plan is right there in front of you. If you have any input on it and have thoughts on it, you have now the key contact person you can contact that owns that key strategy in the organization. And you could probably have a relatively intelligent conversation with them because you at least have some idea where that person's planning on taking that key strategy. So you really could add some value in the discussion. We have those kinds of discussions, and they're probably our most valuable discussions, that you hear from someone on the front line that has a thought and they've read the plan. You can clearly tell they've read the plan. And we didn't have that before. We didn't have a whole lot of engagement in where we were going across all levels of the organization, and I feel that this helps us get that. The other tool that I don't hear, or the other comment I don't hear anymore, which we used to hear a lot of, is I never knew we were doing this project. I never knew we were going to, that was the plan. We can so easily say, well, that's really interesting you never knew that, because on our front page of our portal, it lists that as the #1 project we're working on. And we are quite often reminding our employees to take a look at that, especially when there's new projects coming up or something big happening. We're always pointing into this tool to say, hey, take a look at it, see what's going on out there. So that is very handy to be able to say, hey, that there's a tool there that tells you everything that's going on. Just spend 5 minutes to take a look at it. And now with the new layout, it's not quite as cluttered, so it should be a little easier to get to the data quicker.
Good. That's excellent. You mentioned that you will know, who's in charge of a particular strategy. How would somebody find out who's in charge of, growth with a purpose or something like that?
If I go into, I just clicked on protect the data. And down the bottom, it has these are my three vice presidents that I have assigned to this key strategy. It falls within their areas of responsibility. And if they want to figure out, okay, well, Matt, I can talk to him. Here's his picture, his extension, etc.
Very good. Excellent. So what questions do we have at this hour? I think we have covered some of the basics of what this new offering is all about. We are going to actually really have some time here to answer some questions. So let's see what other questions we have. So the question we are getting here is, on a day-to-day basis, how does the management team use this? The rank and file can certainly look this up, and if they have an idea or suggestion, they can discuss it with the right owners. How is the management team using this with you, Bob? Are you pulling this up in a Monday morning meeting, or how does that look like?
Yep, we do a Monday afternoon. All VPs and myself are together for about 2 hours, and this document is up in front of us. Now we're clicking through and looking at some of the metrics to see how they're tracking. More on a weekly basis, we do more of the project prioritization, and we've moved to a monthly basis, going more drilling into each of the key strategies and looking at more of the metrics on a monthly basis. They don't change from week to week; they change monthly. So we do more of a dashboard deep dive on a monthly basis, and really talk about what projects are in the pipeline. And then on a weekly basis, we talk about the prioritization of all those projects that are in the pipeline, and try to keep the the important ones to the top and see how we're tracking on some of those projects.
Very good. What other questions do we have? On your side panel, you have a way to just, either punch in a question in the chat box, or you could just, hit the hand raising button, and we'll basically just at that point allow you to be able to ask the question directly. While you're waiting for questions, Stephanie, do you mind actually sending the second poll question to the audience?
Yes, the next question should be up on your screen. If you could take a quick second and just indicate the answer that is most relevant for you, that would be fantastic, and we can share that data.
While this is getting answered, do you mind sharing the answers from the first poll question, Stephanie?
Yes, give me just a second and I will share that information with everyone to see. Yep, so we started the session off while we were waiting for everyone else to join. Earlier, just asking to see who is currently using the Passageways dashboards tool, and some of you who are in here today are not currently on the platform, and so that certainly will play into some of the information here. But we've got about 63% of you are not currently using the dashboard tool, and out of that, about 16% is not applicable. So about 50% of our attendees today are using a dashboard tool, and about 50% are not. I can go ahead and jump into the next one, so give me just a quick second here. All right. So as far as managing your strategic plan through your employee portal, about 22% of you are currently sharing that in some capacity, either as a document or with some indicators, and others are doing that either in different ways through document purposes or not through the portal at this time. Okay.
56% are interested to do something about this, and that's the good news. There are obviously a lot of different things that you guys have to juggle through the project throughout the year. This is still early on in the year where, this is the, that time of the year where I like to remind my team exactly what the plan of the year is. And this is a great way to really kind of just, internalize the plan by just, putting it in front of everybody and building all of this out. Keep in mind that, this is built on the foundation of dashboard. You could certainly have the strategic matrix be, useful, just the way it is. But the way we've designed this is you are going to leverage the dashboard module to really kind of get the visualization done. We didn't think that we need a separate visualization tool, so we've just used what we already have in our dashboard module. We have to do some, significant upgrades to get it to the point where it's useful in this format. One of the key here is being able to drill down and see a quickly update on a certain strategy that you guys are following. So keep that in mind as we explore this. I think we're getting another question here. Stephanie, can you see the question? I have a tough time locating the question sometimes.
Yeah, I think the hand may have gone back down. We don't have any open questions at this time.
Okay, good. If you can make me the presenter again, I'm gonna, just quickly wrap up here. Just a quick reminder about some of the ways you can get to, learn more about this. As Stephanie is doing that, So, number one, you're going to get a recording of this presentation. So certainly, you'll have a chance to go through this at your own time. You can certainly share it with your teams as well. You can also ask your, Passageways contact. This could be your sales rep, but this could also be, your account manager, your, customer success manager that has been assigned to you, and they will help you set up a session where we can walk through this entire tool one-on-one and really kind of give you more sense of what this is all about. There are some customizations that are possible. This is certainly a project that we take on, first by making sure this is something that will actually be useful for you, and some of the customizations you might desire are possible. Quick reminder, we have our conference coming up. Powwow typically is done in May. This year it's from May 12th to 14th. If you get a chance to, go to our website, you'll see that there are several different sessions, including, this particular session will be done by Bob in person at Powwow. There are at this point, I believe, more than a dozen speakers. A lot of them are, users of our software as well, some industry experts who are lined up for Powwow. This year, the conference is going to be in downtown Indianapolis at the Alexander Hotel. There is still time to sign up for it. Certainly keep that in mind. I think we are getting a couple of questions here, so let me see if I can actually jump to the questions. The question from Kevin, can you show how this links to the SQL database? Kevin, that's a good question. I don't think that's a quick little presentation that we can do right here, but we can certainly for two things. Number one, if you would like to see some of the portal data itself be available through visualizations that you saw today, that's something that we can make happen. You can certainly work through your customer success manager to set up a session for that. We are also now giving you a way to look at the data that's just obvious for us to help visualize on the portal. The portal usage itself, different work groups, different pages, what kind of traffic you're getting at different sections of the portal, that's now easily possible. If you have a separate SQL database, let's say you want to look at data coming in from a third-party application and visualize that data on the portal, that's also possible at this point using our dashboard piece. There was a session done recently. We can send you the recording for that. In fact, we'll probably try and send you the recording for that particular webinar to everybody in this audience. So you can look through that presentation. But certainly there are more sessions being planned, and there's a lot of such information that will be available at Powwow. Kevin, you've been at our conference in the past. I look forward to seeing you again. I hope we can actually get into a good discussion about this. Any other questions? I think that might be it. Bob, any closing thoughts?
Nope, I just hope everyone found the information useful.
Well, thank you. I definitely feel that it was very useful. It's a good starting point for people to think about, their strategic plan. One of the things that Passageways is still not clear about is, what are some ways in which you could use this? So there is a third poll question, and certainly is going to make that available to the audience. I certainly feel that in my early discussions, this tool can be used for any key project that you have, any project that spans multiple months, maybe takes up most of the year. You can certainly think of projects like a core conversion or maybe a merger that you're going through. Any project that can be broken down into various initiatives, and then each initiative might have various tactics and certain projects underneath. You could certainly use this tool, for such other projects as well. The tool is built allowing you to customize the labels, so you should be able to modify this to use it for another big project, not just your, your strategic plan itself. I do want to thank Bob one more time, and at this time, Thank you, everybody, for attending the webinar today. We look forward to feedback. We certainly will be doing a follow-up with you guys, and we hope that you all come to Powwow to get more information on this new product. Thank you.